Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Keytime Sports. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports right here on Instagram, and the KeyOnMillions.co. Here's my merchandise. Well, excuse me. Here is my media feed for all of my previous segments and other shows. Here is my merchandise. We rolled out new merchandise last month, and we are going to roll out new merchandise later on this month. We also have a new logo, part of our rebrand. So, NBA play-in tournament tips off tonight. We have two games that is going to decide who do the second who both teams in the second seed in the West and the East play on Saturday. Well, excuse me, Sunday. So the first game we have the Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets. Now, both of these teams are in the same exact boat when it comes to record. I believe that Miami, they had a chance to have a better record. They could have won 45 to 47 games, but some of those games down the stretch, it went one way and then it went the other. But one thing I'm just going to tell you all about their roster, I don't see much scoring coming from their roster. And for people who forgot who's all on their roster, here's who is on their roster: Bam Adebayo, Simone Fettuccino, Marin Garner, Vlad Stelvin Golden, Tyler Hero, and here's the rest of the players, and the head coach is Eric Spoelstra. Now, the Miami Heat, they are at the bottom of NBA purgatory because for the last 4 years, including this year, they made it to the play-in tournament. And they haven't gone past the second round, dare I say, since the Wade, Bosh, and James era. They haven't went past the second round. And now we are looking at a team that is just barely decent, below average, or right at average. Because I don't see Miami making it to the playoffs and competing with one of these top teams in the East when it comes to Boston, Boston, Detroit, or even New York if they are lucky to play New York. But when it comes to the Miami Heat, they are just one team that is always going to be in the play-in tournament in the thick of things unless they get some top-notch talent coming down to Miami. So y'all already know I have gone on and on about how glitz and glamorous Miami is, and it shouldn't be hard for top free agents to come play for the Miami Heat, to come play for the Miami Marlins, to come play for the Miami Dolphins. But when you haven't won a championship in a significant period of time, a lot of players are just going to take a step back and look and say, I like the palm trees, I like the water, I like the hotels, I like all of the amenities that comes with South Beach. But when it comes to team dynamics, that's where everybody goes astray. That's why you got teams going to Houston, LA, California, and not coming to Miami. Has Miami lost their mojo? I believe that Miami has lost their mojo when it comes to recruiting top notch players because last time Miami recruited a top notch player, albeit LeBron James, before Miami Dolphins did that, the it was the wide receivers for the Miami Dolphins, the Duper brothers, and before that, for the Miami Marlins, they haven't been anything. They haven't won a championship yet. They played in a World Series, but the whole city of Miami has been doing a whole lot of soul searching over the past 40 years, and Miami Heat is no competition in these playoffs. So I expect the Charlotte Hornets. Let me get on over to the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets, I expect them to win this game. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something about the Charlotte Hornets. Before this season, I never, and I do mean never, covered a Charlotte Hornets game ever in my career. And then February 15th, all of a sudden, I saw how the Charlotte Hornets were playing, and I said, okay, we got to start covering this team because, as you can see with their roster, the Charlotte Hornets are the third youngest team in the NBA. Third youngest. Average age is 24 years old. Now, when we get to their roster, as you all can see, the oldest person on their roster is 25. And the youngest person on their roster is 24, and the oldest person is 33. So still, even with that one player being 30 plus years old, it still rounds down to 24. Average age of 24. So Charlotte Hornets, I'm going to tell y'all something about the Charlotte Hornets. When it comes to the NBA, if there's one team that's a diamond in the rough that has got to work twice as hard to generate headlines in the media, it's the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets is one of the smallest markets that the NBA has to offer. It's worse than Memphis and Milwaukee. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be covering a playoff game in Charlotte, Milwaukee, or Memphis. I prefer to be covering the NBA Finals either in South Beach, California, or in H-Town or Dallas. Somewhere where I know people gonna come and there's a lot of tourist attractions. There's not a whole lot of tourist attractions in Charlotte, North Carolina. There's not a whole lot of tourist attractions in Memphis or Milwaukee. And that is why most of those cities, when it comes to their standards, when it comes to economy, it's second nature. Now, when we talk about other teams like the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics, the cheapest ticket for a Celtics game is $800, and the cheapest ticket for a Hornets game is $245. So the Charlotte Hornets, they can't just flip those tickets if nobody is coming to the games, because that is gonna mess up ticket sales. It's gonna mess up advertising. It messes up a whole lot of stuff. But that is the business of the NBA. But I know that a whole lot of people, they aren't focused on that. But back to this matchup, Charlotte Hornets, they got this matchup. I'm going to tell y'all why. Because the Charlotte Hornets, they have a big three led by LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and Con Kniffel. All of them have averaged at least 22 points per game throughout this run that they've had. In the last 33 games, they've only lost 8 of their last 33 games. They are 25-8 in their past 33 games. Tonight, they are a 5.5 point favorite according to many sports books. According to Best Bet, 5.5 points. DraftKings, FanDuel, Hard Rock Sports, Fanatics, and so many other sports books. So I got the Charlotte Hornets winning this game, but before I put that prediction, I locked that prediction in, I got to give y'all the key storylines for this game. So Charlotte and Miami meet for a play-in tournament game. Miami 43-39, 10th in the Eastern Conference versus the Charlotte Hornets 44-38, 9th in the Eastern Conference. Charlotte, North Carolina, which is Tuesday night, Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. EDT, Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 p.m., 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5:30 Mountain Time, and 6:30 Central Time. The Hornets are a 5.5 point favorite. The play-in game, The Hornets and Heat square off for the winner advancing to play the 8th seed. So now everybody, I'm going to tell you all who is the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. So everybody knows who the Charlotte Hornets or the Miami Heat will be playing. Now, the 8th seed is the Orlando Magic. So, 8th seed, the Orlando Magic. Let's get back to it. The bottom line, Charlotte Hornets host the Miami Heat in the NBA playoffs play-in tournament. The winner moves on in the tournament to play the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Hornets are 26-6. The Hornets are 26-26 in Eastern Conference games. Charlotte ranks 5th in the league with 12.8 offensive rebounds per game, led by Masa Diabet, averaging 3.7 offensive rebounds. Heat are 10-7 against opponents in the Southeast Division. Miami is 21-31 against opponents over 500. The Hornets are shooting 46% from the floor this season, 0.5% points lower than the 46.5% that the Heat allows to opponents. The Heat averaged 13.7 made three-pointers this season, 0.9 more makes per game than the Hornets give up. Top performers to watch out for in tonight's game. For the Charlotte Hornets, Colin Kneppel is averaging 18.5 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 3.4 assists for the Charlotte Hornets. LaMelo Ball is averaging 22.5 points over the last 10 games. For the Heat, Bam Adebayo is averaging 20.1 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.2 assists for the Heat. Andrew Wiggins is averaging 2.4 made three-pointers over the last 10 games. The last 10 games for the Hornets, they are 6-4, averaging 113.4 points per game, 44.8 rebounds, 24.9 assists, 6.3 steals, and 4.1 blocks per game, while shooting 45.6% from the floor. Their opponents have averaged 107.1 points per game. The Heat are 5-5, 500, averaging 125.8 points per game, 43.3 rebounds, 31 assists, 6.1 steals, and 4 blocks per game, while shooting 50% from the field. Their opponents have averaged 126.2 points per game. Now, the point spread is 5.5. I got Charlotte winning. I'm not going to waste anybody's time because from what I see, this is going to be a really, really quick segment. Now, the next game that I'm going to cover is the late game, Portland Trail Blazers and the Phoenix Suns. If anybody knows the Portland Trail Blazers, they were not supposed to be in this situation. I had the Portland Trail Blazers at the bottom of the West. So congratulations to the Portland Trail Blazers being in the play-in tournament. As you all can see, their head coach is Chauncey Billups, but he has been suspended for some things that have transpired off the court. We hope that Chauncey Billups gets back and he is able to get back on the sideline for the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, as of tonight, the Portland Trail Blazers, they have the not Charlotte Hornets, but the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns have been hit and miss all the time in this season. You got an owner in the Phoenix Suns, Matt Ishbia, that is just so enamored by what he can do and how to build his team. But I believe the Phoenix Suns are in over their head when it comes to this team because, as you can see, this team on paper, they wasn't supposed to make it to no playoffs this year. No, it was supposed to be a year of a setback when it comes to the Phoenix Suns, but they made it to the play-in tournament. And outside of, I'm going to say, Devin Booker and Devin Booker and Jalen Green, where else does the Phoenix Suns, who else can they rely on scoring? Because I know Devin Booker, now, I'm gonna say this. Sometimes Devin Booker, he has shooting droughts this time in a season. When it comes to April, May, and June, he'll have shooting droughts like that. He'll have shooting droughts, but all in all, Phoenix Suns. Let's see. I mean, there's nobody on the Phoenix Suns roster that you really have to just zone in on, and if you take away this person, then the whole team is done. See, Phoenix Suns, they don't have that. Now, Devin Booker has shown flashes of that, but he's not the kind of person that really takes over a game like how we've looked at players in the past. Like I could name a few players. Like we can go ahead and say Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant that can just take the ball, control the game, and just pretty much just keep the game on the momentum on their side. Phoenix Suns, they don't have the type of player that's like that. So as far as the preview for this game, before I get into the point spread, the Suns square off against the Trailblazers, or as some people like to call them, the Jailblazers. If you don't know who the Jailblazers are, it was the Portland Trailblazers way back in the day when everybody on that team had some type of legal trouble off the court. If you don't know who the Portland Trailblazers #Jailblazers are, go and watch the Netflix documentary. Now, back to what I was saying. Suns square off against the Trailblazers in the play-in game. Portland Trailblazers 42-40, 8th in the Western Conference, versus Phoenix Suns 45-37, 7th in the Western Conference. Phoenix, Arizona tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Out there Pacific Time, it's going to be 7 p.m. Mountain Time, it is going to be 8 p.m. And in Central Time, it will be 9 p.m. So you got all of the different time zones and slots that this game will be broadcasted on. The Suns are a 3.5-point favorite. Play-in game. The Suns and the Trailblazers meet to decide the 7th seed in the Western Conference, and whoever is the 7th seed, they will be playing the Spurs in the first round of the playoffs. Now, once we get to the Suns are 29-23 in Western Conference games. Phoenix averages 112.6 points and has outscored opponents by 1.5 per game. The Trailblazers are 29-23 in conference games. Portland is 23-18 in games decided by 10 points, 10 or more points. The Suns average 14.8 made three-pointers per game this season, 2.3 more made shots on average than the 12.5 per game that the Trailblazers allow. The Trailblazers average 14.5 made three-pointers per game this season, 2.3 more made shots on average than the 12.2 per game the Suns give up. Top performers for the Phoenix Suns: Royce O'Neal is scoring 9.8 points per game and averaging 4.8 rebounds for the Suns. Devin Booker is averaging 23.8 points and 2.8 rebounds over the last 10 games. Donovan Clingan is averaging 12.1 points, 11.6 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks for the Trailblazers. Dinati Abacha is averaging 24.5 points over the last 10 games. Last 10 games, Suns 5-5, averaging 115.1 points per game, 44.2 rebounds, 24 assists, and 7.8 steals and 5.5 blocks, while shooting 46.4% from the floor. Their opponents have averaged 112.1 points per game. Trailblazers, they are 7-3 in their last 10, averaging 118.3 points, 46.3 rebounds, 25.3 assists, 9.4 steals, and 6.7 blocks per game, while shooting 47.1% from the floor. Their opponents have averaged 105.2 points per game. Injuries, there's a whole list of injuries, and now we are at the end part of the segment. I'm gonna talk about everybody's injuries with the first two teams and the last two teams. Injuries for the Suns: Colin Gillespie. Day-to-day, he has a shoulder injury. Grayson Allen, day-to-day, he has a hamstring injury. Devin Booker, day-to-day ankle injury. Mark Williams, day-to-day foot injury. Royce O'Neal, day-to-day knee injury. Jalen Green, day-to-day knee injury. Jordan Goodwin, day-to-day ankle injury. Dylan Brooks, day-to-day hand injury. Trailblazers: Jeremy Grant, day-to-day calf injury. Damian Lillard out for the season. Achilles, we already knew that he wasn't going to be able to play. Now, let's go back to the Hornets. And the Hornets, when it comes to their injuries, and the Miami Heat, when it comes to Miami Heat injuries: Hornets, PJ Hall, day-to-day ankle injury. Heat, Nikola Vucevic, day-to-day ankle injury. Pelly Larson, day-to-day leg injury. Simone Fecchio, day-to-day ankle injury. Drew Smith, day-to-day foot injury. Now, once we get all of that out of the way, these are the first two games. So, these are the first two games, and I'm going to tell y'all something that we are going to start talking about playoff matchups. So, the winner of tonight's play-in tournament games, both in the East and West, will be playing the 8th seeds. Well, whoever wins tonight's game, they will be playing the 2nd seeds in both the East and Western Conference. Now, one thing that I can say is the Heat, the Heat and Celtics, they have played a lot over the past couple of years. But either way, no matter what team the Celtics play, you might as well get the brooms out. You might as well get the brooms out. Or if at worst, it could go 5 games, a gentleman's sweep, as we call it in this profession and in the industry. Either a sweep the Celtics are going to have, or it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. Whoever the Celtics play, they have no chance. Now let me get to Western Conference. The Suns and the Trailblazers, whoever wins that, they play the Spurs, and I believe the Spurs, they can sweep the Trailblazers or the Suns. At worst, it will be a 5-game series and a gentleman's sweep. So the play-in tournament starts tonight, and it ends on Friday, and Saturday is the NBA playoffs. Game 1s start on Saturday. And with that, those are my predictions for the Heat and Hornets and the Suns and Trailblazers for tonight. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube. Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on Millions.co. Here is our merchandise. Here's our new merchandise. Here's our logo. And here is my profile so that you will know it's me. Got to make sure you know it's me. Here's my profile so that you will know it's me. And here is my media feed for all of my previous sound bites, segments, and other shows. And remember, everybody, one last thing: the Key is always on time.